Hello, my name's Sue Lewis and I'm going to be running you through this presentation. So I head up the Career Pilot team and I'm based at the University of Bath. And this presentation is aimed at careers leaders, and what I'm going to run you through is how Career Pilot can make your job easier. So just in terms of your role as a careers leader, I'm sure you know this already. It's about leadership, leading the team, but also planning the whole school programme and understanding the changing educational landscape. Management of that programme, but also briefing other people who might be supporting careers education in your school. Coordination, bringing everything together, managing career and labour market information, liaising with all those people who might be delivering aspects of careers, and then obviously communicating with the pupils and parents. So in terms of those roles, Career Pilot can be the tool that threads careers and Gatsby together. Career Pilot can be embedded in all levels of the organisation. So there's things in there for students, a lot for students, then for parents, tutors and PSHE staff, for you as a careers leader, also resources to help subject teachers relate their subject to careers, and also information that supports personal guidance. And Career Pilot brings it all together for you. So what I'm going to show you today is how Career Pilot can help young people be career ready, because this is ultimately what we want to achieve. How you can use it at different levels of the organisation. Everybody can be using Career Pilot, and how ultimately that will help you meet the Gatsby benchmarks. So just to give you a quick overview of Career Pilot, it is quite an expansive set of web tools now. We have a student zone, a reporting zone where you can see the results of students' choices, an advisor zone with lots of lesson plans and materials, and also a parent zone. We've also been part of a national Careers and Enterprise Company project. We bid for funding to support Gatsby 8, so we've developed a whole school approach to delivering personal guidance using triage, which I will show you at the end. We are an award-winning site. In 2018 we won the Career Development Institute Award for a good quality careers and employability website. So if you're using our whole suite of web tools, that will really help you with Gatsby 1, which is about having a stable careers programme in place. So just to say, the bid we put into the Careers and Enterprise Company is now evolved into something called the Career Pilot Pathway Planner, which is this triage tool, which I'll mention later. So in terms of helping students become career ready, the message we try to put out to students is they're in charge of their own career, but we're all around to help. And what we've done is put together an animated video, which lasts about 3 minutes, that takes students through those ideas of how they can manage their own career by knowing themselves, so they explore where they are at a particular time, so they know what they've got to contribute, they know what drives them. Doing stuff to build your CV or your skills, knowing all your options in some detail, and then using all the support that's available so you become managers of your own careers by following these stages. That video is available for young people and you to look at by clicking on the Watch Our Video link on the top of the home page. So this is Career Pilot, if you haven't seen it before. It's aimed at it's aimed at Year 7 to Year 13 students, and it started in the south of England but is now being offered outside of our region if schools choose to subscribe. So it's a free access website in the sense that all the information is available to all young people anywhere. But if students sign in, first of all they register, which they do on the site, then sign in, then they can access the career tools, and that is where they can be building their personal report of where they are in terms of their careers, job sectors they're interested in, qualifications, their skills, and all this contributes to a report they can share with their parents or in preparation for personal guidance or with other people within the school or college. The report is accessed there for the students, and that data is used in our reporting zone so you can actually see what young people are interested in by group or individually. Also from the home page you can access the advisor zone, the parent zone. So the address is careerpilot.org.uk and everything can be accessed from that one website. So in terms of the site, we've got our popular tools, all information about jobs and links to 900 job profiles. You can search for courses or apprenticeship vacancies, providers, look at a qualification ladder. Students can plot their route, and there's over 1,000 video stories in the site. And just like the video, we're trying to encourage students to have a process they return to. So this mirrors some of the things we say in the video. Start with yourself. Where are you now? Explore your options. Plan your next steps. But they might already have a qualification in mind for the future, so there'll be lots of information and advice to help them make a good quality choice. So for example, if they clicked on A levels, our information sections look like this. Videos, there's always video stories of the topic. Always a summary of what they're going to learn if they read on down, or they can click to the bit they're particularly interested in. They can also bookmark any pages as well, and that contributes to their career tools. So I mentioned registration. That happens straight onto the site here, and they register once, then after that they sign in. So it's really important to remember the email they're registered with and their password, so they can have this long-term relationship with Career Pilot as they move through the years at school. So the key thing is, the key thing is they do need to put in what school they're from. There's a little drop down. As soon as they start typing it in, they can put that in, and what year group they're in as well. And obviously the password and the email is really crucial for them to remember. So that means when they're using the site, they can be tagging. In the top right of most screens, there'll be an option to add. So this is a job, for example, animal care worker. If they like that, they add, and then that'll appear in my job sectors, but also appear in the full report. And the idea is they're going back every year in housekeeping, because they might not want to be an animal care worker anymore, so they could delete that and bring other jobs in. So all the time their report is moving and changing as they become more experienced in recognising things for themselves, or they understand more about the work or course options. So this is the 3 stages of our career decision making process. Start with you is all about them finding out about themselves, so there'll be activities for their different ages, quizzes to help them get started, start with a subject and see where it could lead, do a skills map or plot your qualifications. Explore your options is all about the different things that they could choose, so they could look at these in some detail. And then plan your next steps, how you're going to use all this, your report and your skills map, and you could be doing ongoing action points that actually are about you moving your career forward. So if we look at those in a little bit of detail, start with you. There's particular things that I'm just going to show you quickly here. So there's activities for every year group that fit with the sort of decisions they're having to make. So if it's year 9, it might be about options, year 10 it might be preparation for work experience, etc. So there'll be 4 or 5 suggested activities for the students. Then in the advisor zone, there's an introductory presentation that we've put together that you could deliver. Your PSHE staff, your tutor team could be delivering this sort of lesson plan. There's also a job sector quiz. Students really like this. It's a really good way to find out what's important to them in a job scenario, so they can tick as many of the pictures as they want to. Then it'll give them particular sectors that seem to chime with the things they're interested in that they can explore further. Then when they click on jobs, there's lots of information here. They can search for a direct job or look at sectors. They can start with a subject they like and see where it might lead. And there's other things too. They can compare up to 3 jobs and see where they're predicted to grow, with their salaries, etc. There's also Job Growth Near Me, which has infographics on what's happening in the labour market at this point in a geographical area. So all these things fit, of course, with Gatsby 2, which is about labour market information and making sure young people are aware of the job market. I mentioned the skills map earlier. This can be accessed here as well as through Start With You. And this starts with the quiz format, and what we're trying to do here is help students understand that everything they do provides skills. So they can actually indicate what things they've already done in their life and their learning, and if they're post 16, in their work potentially as well. So under hobbies, this one I've tagged, I've kept going with a hobby or sport out of school. And for everything they tick, it tells them what skills they probably used. So for that one, they've probably been resilient, and they probably stayed positive, so they kept going with their hobby or interest. Then in the skills profile will be all the skills, and these do map to the skills better framework if you use that. They have 8 skills, we've got all those, and we have a few more besides. So here are all the skills with examples generated by the quiz, and the idea is they then add their own. So we're trying to encourage them to recognise lots of things they've done in their life or their learning, and actually put something in to their skills profile about what they've done. So it might be being part of a team, babysitting, could be anything they've done really, and what skills is it giving you? Was it a school or an out of school activity? And then all those examples are added into the skills map, and you can see the top one is teamwork for this person because they've got 5 examples from the quiz and 1 they've generated themselves. What they can also do is compare their skills to the skills required for a job. So if they put in a job here, nurse, plumber, builder, whatever it might be, then they can see the skills required for that job and their own skills alongside it. So they can begin to see what they need to do or what experiences it'd be worth them having if they want to be able to talk effectively about themselves in relation to a job they're interested in. When they come to apply, it might be for work experience, it could be for a college course, it could be for university. A lot of people use this in Year 12 to help students start the journey to personal statement writing. They can use their skills to apply, say what they're applying for, think of the skills they most need to flag up for that experience, and then they'll see all their examples, and then they can write it into the appropriate way for whatever their sort of application they're writing. So that really helps with Gatsby 5, 6, 7 because they've had an encounter or work experience. You can get them to write something in to their skills profile, say what skills is given to them, and that's helping them build up this profile ready for when they come to apply later. So the second stage of the process is when they're exploring their options. They can explore in a range of different ways by age. Choices of 16 will show those particular pathways. Or they can search for jobs, courses, apprenticeship vacancies, providers, and they can look at their qualifications by levels. So to show you a few of those things, this also supports Gatsby 2. So they can put in a job, they can drill down to a sector and look at a job profile. The job profile will have lots of information about that job. They can see the skills again here, but there's labour market information too about job growth, and there's job growth over a period of time till 2024 in fact. But they can also see employment by region as well, so it just helps them to understand that sometimes a lot of the jobs might be in London, for example. So just to explain about the growth, it is about where this job's going to be into the future. And I know we have COVID currently and a lot of things are changing a bit, but we don't really know what's going to be happening in 2024. So this is a prediction of growth. But if they click on in your local area, it'll have up-to-date infographics from the National Career Service about what's happening more locally at this moment. So also in terms of Gatsby 2 and in terms of young people actually managing their careers, they can look at a course search tool. They can find degree courses or apprenticeship vacancies. So that's under courses. So they could search this as a degree course pathway. So they could put in a degree, or there's a subject list which will give them some sort of ideas, where they live, how far they're prepared to travel, and then they can see a short list. So they can click around and learn about courses quite early on. You don't have to wait till sixth form to get a bit of an idea about what's out there. If they click on any of these, they'll get some key information, and they can also look at the course. And you'll see too, there's a plus. That means, they can tag it. So if they like this course, they can add it to my courses in the career tools. There's a few other things. The qualification plan I mentioned a few times. This is where students can tag where they are now, what qualifications they're doing or they've done, and what they might do in the future. They can click on any of these to find out a bit more about that qualification. When they have actually clicked on some things, in my qualifications they can actually put in their subjects and predicted grades, and then next year they can come back and make them to actual grades. There's also the Find a Provider tool, which can be searched in a range of different ways, and that will help them to find a provider near to them, and they can click through to find out their offer. So the final stage is planning next steps, so they can look at their report, use their skills map, but they could be writing action points at any point, at any stage. So we do encourage students to be thinking of 1 or 2 things they can be doing to move on their own careers, and that can all be recorded here. I mentioned the report quite a bit, so that can be accessed here by the students, and you can see that through the back end. If the students have actually done this work before guidance, then there's oodles of stuff there to help the guidance advisor find out more about the students. So that really helps support the guidance interview. Also, in terms of meeting the individual needs of students, it really supports Gatsby 3 because you'll know what their needs are and you can support them in actually getting to where they want to go. And the report could be quite detailed. You can also add through the system advisor comments, so the guidance advisor could write their report straight into the site, and then that's visible to the students and anybody else who's got access to their record. And a new little feature that we've just put in for September 2020 is a summary dashboard. So if you click here, then what you find is the top 5 of some of the things that you might have been flagging up. So it's just a little overview report which will be printable soon, and then there'll be a summary on 1 page because the whole report is quite detailed. Okay, so we talked a lot about the student site and how it's helping them to become career ready, and hopefully you can also see how it's helping you to meet some of those Gatsby benchmarks. I'm going to focus in now on different roles within the school and how CareerPal can help them. So for example, subject teachers are, through Gatsby, supposed to be linking their curriculum subject to careers. So that's Gatsby 4. So I'm just going to show you what we've got on CareerPal to help with that. So in the site, some called Start with a Subject. So students can indicate a subject they really like the look of and see where it might lead. And this might be something a subject teacher could do maybe once a term, once a year, where just for 20 minutes you could say, okay, let's see where computing could go. And then there'll be jobs which link with that particular subject. Example, degrees, apprenticeship, vocational courses. So that's a good way to just run around different things, compare jobs, and just have a bit of conversation about where the computing as a school subject could go. There's also links to the free online courses put up by universities which don't require you to be a university student, and these are great for preparing you for a subject or helping you understand more about it. Look brilliant on personal statements, so definitely for post-16 these are really good things to do. New now is a feature where you can add the subjects you like, and that will be added to your career tools alongside all the other information. So in the advisor zone, which is, I'll show you where that is again, just to remind you, you can access it from the home page. We also have resources to support Gatsby 4. We've got 23 Key Stage 4 subject specific resources, 1 for each subject, that actually tie into a particular aspect of the curriculum that particular teacher is delivering. So if it's chemistry, it might relate to jobs in the chemistry industry, and it'll have 5 or 6 suggestions of things the chemistry teacher can do to relate their subject to the outside world. They are available from the advisor zone. You request them and you get a free download. We also have now 23 subject resources for Key Stage 5, and they are available for a small charge. And if you're a super user, it's less than if you're not a super user, and you can request these through the advisor zone. So the other people who might need to be engaged with careers are those people who are working a lot with the students, like your tutor team or PSHE staff. So they might just need to know this resource is there for them to signpost young people to, so they get asked a tricky question like what are degree apprenticeships or whatever. But they might also be using these preset activities for different year groups and these preset presentations. We've also got other resources that you could give them to deliver. So I'm just going to show you some of those, and they're all accessible through our advisor zone. So this is the advisor zone, lots of lesson plans and resources and materials to use. So there's home learning activities and specific things we put up during COVID, like latest information for advisors, for example. But there's also the subject specific resources I mentioned earlier, the new pathway planner, which I'll be talking about later. free access to the Career Pal reporting zone if you haven't got that set up already. We're also doing the Level 6 Diploma in Careers Guidance if that's of interest. But there's lots of resources here for different key stages. So those introductory presentations for every year group, they're all available here, and various other things too, which I'm just going to go on to mention. So in terms of Gatsby 1, a stable careers programme, what Career Palette is helping you to do is think about what you do every year on Career Palette that fits with the age and stage of the young people. So we've got suggested activities for every year group, and those are all on the advisor zone. We've also got 5-week PSHE programmes for all year groups that actually are all careers focused. Some use Career Palette, some have resources that you can do in a classroom situation. And we also have 20-minute tutor time activities for Key Stage 3 and 4. So they're all careers related, quite fun things to do. And those are all free to use from the advisor zone. Then to help Gatsby 2, telling parents about LMI and getting the messages out to young people, we've got a hot jobs, 30 jobs that are predicted to grow and hopefully still predicted to grow. And you can download them in different formats. So as the format you can send out as part of social media. So some schools are doing job of the week, send them out to parents, for example. Or you can there's poster format, which you can print them off. Or there's information board format as well. We've also got things like careers guides for careers advisors. At the moment we've just got 2 on, these are jobs that a lot of changes have recently happened. So if you know somebody wants to get into law, that's got all the latest information, labour market information, pathways, really good links and things. And we've done that for law and veterinary medicine. There's also things like a quick guide for year 13 about things they need to think about in the pandemic. And these are all put together by careers advisors. Also, you'll be trying to engage parents and carers, and they're the ones who really want to know as much as they possibly can sometimes about the range of options, and really, they're not so up on it as maybe the students are. So in the parent zone, parents can click on a path, something like Choices 16, and find questions they might well like to know the answers to, and they're written in a hopefully clear to understand way. Do tell them about the main site as well, though, because they really enjoy looking at that. I mentioned the reporting zone. You can get access to that. In the advisor zone, you can request access. You have to complete the data sharing agreement. They're signed by your senior leadership team, and then we issue a password to whoever they've given that job to, the password keeper, and then you can set up additional passwords for your staff. You can look at all sorts of reports. You could set Career Palette as a homework activity and then look at the tasks completed report and see who has done it, and look at their report as well. You can look at what job sectors a particular group might be interested in. You can download this information and play with it. You can drill down to an individual, find a student. I'm just making this bigger. Then you can view their full report, and this is where you can add advisor comments. You can download their report and send it to a parent or whatever. You can view any previous reports they might have in the system. So this is where you can, as an advisor or a tutor, add a comment. If you just had a conversation about careers, you could write it here, and you can add action points as well as the students. So in terms of Gatsby 8, we've done a lot of work on this because our national bid to the Careers and Enterprise Company was about a whole school approach to delivering personal guidance. So we all know that Gatsby says students should have an individual interview before they're 16 and another one opportunity before they're 18. The Careers Enterprise Company also have done some research into personal guidance, what works, and these, they say, are the principles of good quality guidance. So our bid had to very much meet these requirements. So we've put together something called the Pathway Planner. You don't have to use this, but if you want to have it as an add-on to your Career Palette, then it is now available. Career Palette, as it is a great tool for preparing kids for guidance, but also giving the guidance advisor lots of information. What we've done, the models go a sort of bit further. So this model was piloted in 2019-20 with 6 schools with year 11 and 12. And the model is based on providing a pre-guidance 1-hour career pilot session to young people about their options. So they might have all sorts of information about options. On this one day, they're going to have an hour in a computer room, and we're going to take them through the options, make sure they know all the options that are available for them in their next key stage. So it's year 11 about post 16, year 12 about post 18. They're going to have some time on Career Pilot to explore the ones they're particularly interested in. And just for the last 10 minutes of the session, they're going to use our pathway planner, which will find out which pathway they're interested in, ask them some questions to find out how ready they are for their pathway, give them a red, amber, green score, but then give yourself a lot of data that you can use to provide guidance to meet individual need at 3 different levels. You can then use Career Pilot as part of guidance. You can write your report on it, and then 3 or 4 weeks later the tutors follow up by asking 3 questions, and it's no more than that. It takes about 5 minutes, and if the tutors are concerned, they can flip them back into guidance, and all this can be recorded through the system. In our model, at least one lunchtime a week there was a sort of drop-in students could take advantage of. There was e-guidance they could request through the system. I'll just show you quickly how that works. And this really meets Gatsby 8 but also supports Gatsby 3. So if you choose to have the pathway plan, there is a cost for it, which I'll explain in a minute. It will be switched on for your students. So at the end of that pre-guidance 1-hour session, they'll be asked to do the pathway planner. So depending on their age, it'll show them what pathways are available. They have to tick to say whether they're definite, considering or not doing. And then they do a quiz about each of those pathways that they're definite or considering. There is now a college version as well. So we've got version for year 11 and then 12, 13, but now there's a college version too. So they do a quick quiz on each of the pathways. I'm definite about vocational qualifications. Okay, let's ask you some questions. I know where that is. I know what I want to do. I know where I can do it. I know I'm going to get the grades. And some of these questions are red flagged questions, and so they don't see the answer, the red flags, but it does help us to tell them how ready they are for their pathway, whether they're red, amber, green. So this student is considering employment, but seems to be quite sorted about the information, but they're definite trumps everything about vocational qualifications, and then amber. So that means there's some gaps in their knowledge or understanding. So this system, something we piloted, it's been working really well as a way to help students recognise where they are, but give you data as well. Everybody's going to get a careers advice session, which is obviously Gatsby 8, delivered by somebody with a level 6 qualification, hopefully. It's definitely if you want to meet Gatsby 8. But then you can see at the back end, you now have this new tile called Pathway Planner Results and Bookings. So now you can see the pathways they're interested in and also how definite they are about those pathways, and then you can allocate guidance according to 3 levels of need. So there's certain actions you can do. You can view their answers, and you could group students together who've got the same sort of issues. That's another way that some schools are doing it, pulling them together, having a chat, and then doing a shorter guidance session, which is more individual. You can view a timeline to show where they are at a particular time, and it also shows your guidance interventions. You can make bookings. You can do a summary of where you think they are at the end of guidance, and the tutor follow-up can be recorded here as well, as can the advisor comments. If you're interested in finding out more, we do have an introduction to the Pathway Planner session taking place on October the 20th. So if you are interested in the Pathway Planner, it's now available to roll out to other schools, and it costs £299, which is a one-off cost. You won't have to pay in the future. But if you would attend one of our introductory webinars, it is £249, and then you get a training session, 2-hour training, just explaining how you set it up, and you get all our lesson plans, access to the tool, but also to the reporting zone, and also you become part of a membership group, which is looking at models and how people deliver it and trying to move it on so it's even more useful. And if you want to get access to that, there's a tile in the advisor zone called the Pathway Planner. So hopefully you can see that Career Pilot can really be at the centre of what you're doing as a school, because there's something there for all levels of the organisation. And really, for you as a careers leader, this could be one tool that you can use to engage all the people you're trying to get to support your careers provision within your school. So just a few last things. We do offer a whole programme of free training. Some of that can be for your school. Everything's by webinar these days, but we can train your staff team, for example. If you're new to Career Pilot, we could do a session with your SLT just to help them understand the benefits. If you're a super user, you can have a parent session. We could do a one-to-one consultation if you're a careers leader, so we will just set that up with you and through Teams actually help you to put an implementation plan together. And there's some video lessons for pathway planning schools. We also have an extensive programme of free webinars which are generally available, not just for your school, and you can see this is our programme. We are offering the Level 6 Diploma. Our next course starts in November 2020, and it's a combination of some taught sessions all online this year, but then you have to meet some written requirements, particular units. But we do, which is unusual in terms of some other courses, we do a lot of individual mentoring. So you get given a mentor who's a qualified advisor, and you can observe them offering guidance. They will observe you offering guidance, and there will be some sort of assessed observations as part of the course. It takes about 9 to 12 months to finish the course, that's what we find. And you do need to be in a guidance context so you can practice the skills, because that is where it's a sort of work-based learning type of qualification. You could become a super user. I mentioned super users a few times. You have to hit 4 criteria. A link to Career Pilot is on your website that students can use to access the site. You need to request some free materials. That's not hard to do. You need to have 100 active students at least per academic year, less if you're at a special school, and you need to have access to reporting zone or tell parents about it. Then you get a certificate. You also get early access to new things and reduced costs should we be charging for things. We don't charge for much. We get lots of positive feedback from students. They love having a site they can use and explore things they're particularly interested in, and they love having their own account and being able to see the report and bookmarking, and everybody loves the job sector information as well. So as is a webinar recording, there won't be any questions, but if you do need anything, we do have a helpline which is available from 9 till 3 every day in term time, and that helpline will help answer any questions, or if you're having any issues you can get in touch with the helpline. So thank you so much for listening. If you do have anything you want to send to the helpline, then please do that. It's mostly by email at the moment rather than by phone. So good luck using Career Pilot, and do get back to us if you'd like to know more.